Second.
Thank you,
I'll
Commissioner.
second.
Have a second. Will you poll the commission?
District 1 Lee,
Abstain.
District 2 Currington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivps.
Yes.
And now our September 25th, which is the budget
Sure.
meeting.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve September 25th. budget
Thank
meeting.
you.
I'll second.
Mr. Currington seconds.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Currington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivps.
Yes.
And now the September 27th.
Madam Chair, make a motion to approve September 27th commission meeting minutes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Currington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivps.
Abstain.
Now, October 11th.
Madam Chair, I'll actually do it with my microphone on this time. Make a motion to approve the October 11th commission meeting minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Currington, do you second that?
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay. District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Currington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivps.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
I'm glad this doesn't happen often.
There's a lot of minutes.
We have no proclamations or resolutions to address.
Madam Chair, excuse me. On Monday evening, I did bring in some information for us to do a proclamation that got left off of the agenda. And we had discussed on Monday evening that we will go ahead and approve that proclamation today. And that way, it would not have to be approved the day that
Right.
it is being given. So I would like to move that we will approve a proclamation for Mr. Money, who is
Professional
championship.
boxer. That's what he's tired of. He's a professional boxer, Miss Ella.
Oh, no, I thought it was.
I'll second that.
But I go
Okay.
ahead and second it.
All right.
He is all right. Isn't he?
Because we did discuss that Monday
Yes,
night.
we did. So we can take a vote.
Ms. Horn has the information. Thank you, Madam Chair.
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Currington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Epps.
Yes.
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivps.
Yes.
Okay, so that next meeting, we will have that available, and he'll be here.
I will contact her. I wanted to wait until we approved it first. I'll contact her and let her know.
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
just for the record, I want to state that we did not break our procedure by doing this, because under the discussion items, you can bring up anything, and if it carries unanimous, then it carries. So even though it was inadvertently left off the agenda, it was still within our protocol, because it did carry unanimous.
Okay, thank you for noting that. A discussion item is the Planning Commission appointments.
Yes, Madam Chair, I just placed those in the commission packets to make everyone aware that there are some appointments coming up.
Okay. All right, so there's no discussion.
Somebody had an appointment.
Business items, Deputy Coroner, Commissioner Reed.
Madam Chairman, at this time, I'm requesting the county attorney to draft a resolution for the corner office, adding a position of a transport driver, the salary and benefit, which is $21,000, and bring it back before the commission.
I'll second that.
Now, discussion.
Transport driver, now this, we keep changing this. It's the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time I've heard transport driver.
Well,
So we'll have 2 deputy coroners and 1 transport driver, is that correct?
no, it's all all this is the same though. He's just within his office. The deputy gonna do all those. He's not gonna hire nobody to do it. Just take care of the deputy.
I'm confused at the wording.
I'm a little confused. Can you
Well-
restate the motion, please?
Well, I'll put it like this then. I'm requesting the county attorney to draft a resolution for the corner office, adding a position of a deputy, chief deputy, the salary and benefit, which would be $21,500.
That's
Okay.
not what the motion was it?
That's, ask to draft a resolution and bring him back before the commission. That's the motion, the deputy coroner. He'd be salary and benefit.
Are you saying adding a chief deputy, which I don't think the law allows us to do?
No, it's just deputy. I mean, just deputy coroner, not chief deputy, just deputy coroner.
Well, you can't have a deputy because you're only authorized to have two.
Well, I'll just state the motion, again, Mr. Funderburg, if that's the case, he says he got to only have two. It's just, salary and benefit.
Is it one of the deputies is gonna be the transport driver, and you just wanna put him in for salary and benefits, is what you're saying?
Right, it'd be all in one. He'd do everything.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed, since I don't understand the motion, can you tell me how many employees the coroner will have in his office?
Well, since the coroner here, you got the same number, it'd be no entries, right?
So one of the deputies you have now will be replaced with this position full-time?
It'll be one of the persons who just have the jobs combined. Same number of people that have not extra additional.
Okay, I'm sorry to ask this, but I am totally confused by these motions. Will you please go over what that structure is for me? It's the coroner, and then that way we'll all be clear.
Right, one of the persons that's already working with one of the employees will just have additional responsibilities still, no additional employee, not actually additional.
Okay, so it's the coroner,
It's the coroner, along with the deputy that I already have.
two deputy coroners.
Well, I actually have like 4 other people work for them, but one of the jobs will just be combined to this.
That's an additional employee.
The problem is the attorney went over with us that we cannot add deputy coroners by the way the law is, so I don't want to step into this and do something illegal.
Right,
So,
I'll say coroner
yeah.
assistant. 'Cause that's not-
But this person then doesn't have the authority to carry out the duties of the coroner as the deputy coroner does. That's what I think we're trying to get at. If we add a person, then we can't add someone who has the authority as a deputy coroner.
Legally, I need to ask a question, because I would never be able to draft what you're talking about. Does that mean that if you take one of the coroners and make him the driver, he's gonna get an additional 21,000 plus the figure he's already making?
It's just one of the drivers that's gonna become a coroner assistant.
A coroner's deputy.
A coroner assistant, an assistant.
All right, but then that person,
That's not a deputy, that person can do what he or she needs to do for the office.
but that person can't go to, a site in place of a coroner, because
No, that
he's,
person will just be there to assist. They
he-
won't take over any additional responsibility.
Madam Chair, I don't think there's a person here that knows what we're talking about right now. I would ask that this be tabled until we get an organizational chart to show us who is what, who's doing what.
Madam
Motion to
Chair.
table.
Madam Chair,
Wait a minute.
Madam Chair,
No discussion.
Let's-
got to vote on it.
we still got to vote on it. I'm sick and tired of one commission kind of running.
Well, we need something in writing, Commissioner.
I'm just trying to do what I'm told to do. My people.
Well, I already told him what we were requesting, he drew up a resolution, we could bring it back for the commission, we would vote on it.
It wouldn't be legal, because I don't know what you want in there.
All we wanna do is give him what's called a deputy, what it is, he's a coroner assistant.
And all I'm asking for is an organizational chart, Mr. Summer. That's all I want from you. If you can give me that.
Within the department already, that's all I'm doing, like we do other departments, just give the person other responsibilities.
All right.
We watch that happen a lot of times.
Coroner, summary,
Yes,
I believe you have an administrative assistant,
that's correct, yes, ma'am.
and she's part-time.
That person, all of them consider part-time.
So what we're trying, we got a motion to table, and we don't need
We
discussion,
have a
so,
motion on the floor to table to the next meeting.
yeah, I
Our
second.
attorney can work up something, a resolution or whatever.
Somebody I can't figure out what kind of resolution. Are we talking about adding
Let's vote on the table.
title or what?
Madam Chair, I call for the question on the motions table.
District 1 Lee,
Yes,
District 2 Currington,
Yes,
District 3 Martin,
Yes.
District 4 Reed,
No,
District 5 Epps,
I'm going to abstain because I don't know.
District 6 Corbett,
Yes.
District Seven's group.
We motion to table?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll vote for
Now, let me ask a question of the coroner, so we can get we're not trying to give you a hard time, we just have to get it right, because we have a law here. Why can't we take one of the deputy positions, because the law gives you 2 deputy positions, and make the responsibilities of one of those deputies, not only a deputy coroner, but be a transport driver as well, and pay them the salary and benefits you're asking?
I agree.
I'm asking basically the same thing, I'm not asking any additional.
I understand, but see, we keep hearing people say, this person, well, if it's a deputy coroner, we just adding responsibilities to that deputy's position and giving them the salary and benefits that you're talking about.
Right, but as a coroner assistant, can I ask for that and give them some coroner assistant job as well?
Well, but that's a coroner's assistant, I mean, we already got, I mean, technically, that would be an additional position, even though it may not be an additional person, because right now, the law gives you 2 deputies. And it also allows us to give you personnel to run the office as needed, and that's where you get the 1 clerk or whatever she's called. All right, now, see, you're asking for another position, even though it may not be another person. You may still have 4 people, but it would be technically a new position. And you could always come back and say, well, I need to fill this other deputy coroner, because that's in the law. And we can't change the law. But what I'm asking, do you want, I mean, what's the purpose? Is the purpose to have basically a full-time transport driver? Is that basically what we're asking?
No, basically just as a coroner assistant, that's all I'm asking.
Well, why, but the law doesn't allow us to have a coroner's assistant. It allows a deputy. 2 deputies.
But you asked the question that you asked, that I need additional deputies.
I understand that. So why can't, when we write up this, what we're gonna vote on, just take one of those deputy positions and add
Right.
additional responsibilities to make it a full-time? Just one of them. It'd still be a deputy coroner, but he would do what you wanted to do, I think.
Gentry, I think that's exactly what he wants.
But we need to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, it's exactly what he wants.
Madam Chair,
You need to get your words.
can I say one more thing? Mr. Sunbury, I hope you understand that I'm sitting up here trying to make the best decisions I can. All I want from you, myself personally, regardless of the other commissioners, I just want an organizational chart to show coroner, 2 deputy coroners, and where the other positions in your department that are being paid by the county would lie. If I can get that from you, I do not mind supporting what you're trying to do. But I need to see how many employees, how much they're getting paid. And the last question is, where's the money coming from? I mean, you'd said before it was in your budget, but I'm not sure if that's the case, so I need that answer too. And maybe that's the administrator can answer that.
Well, I can answer that. It was in his proposed budget. It was not in the budget we passed.
Okay, so that will need to be answered as well. So if you can do that for me, then, I'll be glad to entertain it, so.
But just remind the commission that during a budget meeting on September 25th, this came up and was debated extensively, and the motion was made to leave the coroner's office as it is and to give them the COLA increase, and it passed unanimous. So anything we're doing now, we're changing our mind less than 2 months. So.
The attorney needs to know if you're gonna add that salary to whoever is assigned this duty, or that their present salary would be increased to 21,000. Otherwise, nobody would be able to interpret the resolution I'd have to draw. You gotta know what the total salary is of the person that's gonna fulfill this function.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna suggest that Commissioner Reed, he brought it up, gets with the coroner, and the 2 of them together write out what they want and give it to our county administrator and let her make sure it's within lines, and she can pass it on to the attorney to make sure it's within the law, and then draft something for us to vote up or down at the next meeting.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
question, Matt, to the coroner. Do you have a problem with taking one of your deputies and making that deputy what you're trying to do?
I just need to take another look at it, make a job on my because
Okay.
I wanted to work it the way it was, because I do have a formula that has been working. I just need to upgrade it somewhat, like I said, because the person that is involved as far as the coroner assistant, because y'all said I can't have an additional deputy, that person will take on more of the responsibility, so I could probably call the coroner assistant, and the county not have to worry about me saying I'm asking for an additional deputy.
Okay.
And then I need to know, when I word this, if you're going to assign it to an existing person, what their total salary will be. I mean, so if you, 21, do you mean you're adding that to their existing salary, or that's gonna be their total salary?
Total salary would be what we asked for, what Commissioner Reed already stated.
21,000 would be their, all right, I can
And
understand.
we would also need to know from the attorney if we can add a new position to that
You
office.
can, you can
we can add
assign a job and let him assign the position,
Assign
that
a
way
job.
he's not
Wait,
assigning.
the way the law, I read the law, the way I read it, we can add 20 positions, but they do not have the authority
Yeah,
as a
that's right.
coroner.
That's right.
We can only have 2 deputy coroners and 1 coroner.
All right.
So you can add 100 positions as clerks or drivers or whatever, but they can't oversee or sign death certificates.
That's what I'm asking for, yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
may I ask a question to someone who may know? Do we have another act since 201 on the coroner's position? Because the act that I have is a 201 act, and in it kind of points out about the coroner and the coroner's deputy and whoever and whatever. Do we have a new one that
If you're not
overrides this
looking
one?
at 444, you're looking at the wrong one.
It's 202. I know there was one in 202.
And it's been,
I
it's
have,
in your
this is
packet.
it's in my,
It's under
the new one,
business. Yes, ma'am.
the new one?
It's under the second tab in business, or
Well-
first tab in
There
business,
wasn't much
The latest.
difference,
right here.
Okay, we're not quite.
Second. Click on that.
Mr. Carter, we need to know if you bring in somebody else and they approve it, you need to know, so that would be a new person. Then you need to set the salary, so you need to set this motion up so the commissioners know what they're voting on. If you're assigning the job to a deputy, that's just assigning him additional duties, and his total salary is 21, but if you bring in a new person, what would their salary be? You know, I mean, all you gotta do is just spell that out where we can put it in writing, so they,
This is a resolution.
you know what you're voting on.
Yeah, we're not doing anything, we tabled it.
Maybe we'll work it out.
All right, so
Okay. Well, you can get the information to the administrator so she can work it out, or to be on the next agenda. Okay.
So they do have a deputy.
District 6 Planning Commission appointment.
Madam Chair, I reached out to actually several people, and they turned me down, but I do have one person that has shown interest in it. So at this time, I'm going to appoint Ms. Peggy Blackshear to that position.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for the next item? And that would be Commissioner Epps' contract for Mick Cole.
Oh. Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Last evening, we discussed in length the contract for Ms. Cole. But in reading the contracts, for some reason, the contract that I had read first was not the contract that we had in our package this week. And I have a question there. Why are there 2 contracts, and you know, what was wrong with the first contract that we had? Then this, and then the attorney draft another contract. And I think it was said on Monday in the course of a conversation, Commissioner Corbett said that we shouldn't have the attorney doing something outside the scope of, you know, meeting. We should. In essence, that's what he was saying, that I shouldn't go to the office and have them to draw up something that have not, and that's the way I understood it. Not for a debate, just the way I understood it.
there's only one contract that's being presented, and that's the one I drafted in conjunction with the administrator, using the one prepared by Mick as a general guide, so that's the only one you're considering. And you can
Okay, so
change it
then the
any
one
way you
that
want to.
The one that was tabled from the, I'm just trying to, for clarification for cadets. The one that was tabled was not drafted by you. Is that
No,
from the
ma'am.
last meeting?
No,
That's what I'm
ma'am.
trying to
That's
find
wrong.
out. Okay. And with that being said, I would like to, after much prayer and thought, I would like to move that, the commissioner will, draft a contract for Mrs. Nicole on a salary base of $500 per month. That would include everything that the commissioner requests of her. And that way she won't have to come back to us or back to the administrator with an invoice. I would like to see that just a motion that would include everything. It would take, when I say everything, not only the upkeep of the website, it would include the flyers, the resolutions, the proclamation, pictures, or anything that we have to advertise in, that she would make sure that get to the media or to the newspapers that need to be done. And also, if necessary, then she needs you to cover the games that is in town for that the children play here in Mercer County, and that is in form of a motion.
I second, Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. Spruce, seconds.
All right, so what I understand is what you're proposing is neither one of is not the contract that Mick provided and not the contract that the administrator provided. It's will be completely different.
That is correct.
Okay.
And the attorney can, draft one stating these things within that contract, so we will all be on one accord with one understanding.
Madam Chair, we had a discussion about this last, here on her other contract, where it was like 30 hours a month at $15 an hour is what she presented on her contract. Now we're changing it?
Well, this
Well,
proposal,
that contract was no good after.
Well-
She's the one that, Mick's the one that presented that to us, at the,
We did not-
when she, and we
Madam-
didn't do anything with it, but that's what she presented to us.
well, we can.
Madam Chair,
Excuse me, okay?
that contract was tabled. And on Monday, we talked about the contract that the attorney drew up. So if you multiply.
So this is, like I said, this is entirely something new. And, I was prepared to vote for the contract that was presented by the administrator with the changes of 30 hours a month from 5 hours a week, but that's not on the table right now, so, hopefully this proposal will get voted down and then we can present the other proposal.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was prepared to support the website development. I'm not prepared to support the rest of the stuff. Going to events and representing the commission and taking pictures and doing the flyers and things like that. I think that, I have been telling Ms. Horn for a couple of years now that I think we ought to have and entertain the idea of having a full-time IT person. Madam Chair, I can't hardly hear what he's saying. I would like to see a full-time IT person. Most businesses, even counties and government agencies, have an IT person that, manages those things. And I understand that we have a lot of departments that have different contracts, and the sheriff has his own and different ones, and I get that. So maybe there's a reason not to do that. But I have not really understood the duties of this position in the past, or how we got to this point. I probably wasn't here when the first contract was approved, and I haven't really it hasn't been really clear on what this is. I thought finally this contract was going to give us the opportunity to clear that up. Currently, she does maintain, this contractor maintains our website, and, that's probably a no-brainer that we continue that service on. But as for the other services, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's been a little too much of doing for one person and doing for another person and things going on that I would like to clear up and make sure that we understand and the administrator understands exactly how we're doing that. There are many professionals out there that provide a similar service that they have been not given any opportunity to come up here and even present to this commission, to be allowed to present their services. And I get that because we have somebody in place, but I'm not real sure that's exactly fair. The most recent issue that I've had, there was some issues that I had with the contractor in which the day after we decided to not approve some ads in some magazines, I started getting texts from that contractor telling me, I'm being contacted by this person, I'm being contacted by this person, can you tell them it's approved, or can you tell me to approve it? And I simply said, and this was on September 14th, the day after commission meeting, I just simply said, by text, I don't have the power to approve that. I'm one commissioner of 7. I don't have the power to do that. And my next suggestion was mainly advice, and said at about 5:30, I said, let the person we place over tourism contact them, whoever that may be. It doesn't look like we're going to make it this year. Whoever that is, let them contact them. The problem is the next response that I got from this contractor is one of the reasons I don't want this contractor being the face and going out and doing that. And I actually asked, I said, you can't bring things to us at a meeting with no proof of concept and expect us to just write a check. And the response from that contractor to my text, to my phone, was, what the hell kind of proof do you need? These are legitimate marketers for these publications that your boy Lucas misled and held until there was nothing we could do. I am a professional, and I'm going to call them, so pound salt. Good night. I don't have to tell you what pound salt is. If you got a smartphone, you can look it up. And nor will I use that language in here today. I have a problem with approving this. I am fine if somebody wants to put it on the table that this person maintain our website. But when it comes down to me on Monday night, I actually asked the question came to the table, and 2 different commissioners said that there has been no, that this contractor does not do personal stuff for them and charge the county for it. And they said, and I can almost quote it, I actually have it recorded, so we can quote it, that the stuff that this contractor does for me is done at no charge, okay, or I pay him, okay? I wanted that on record because I'm going to wait here and see if these commissioners vote for this contract after saying that they're receiving stuff personally for free from this contractor. So I say we need to vote this down, do a contract for the IT services until we make a decision if we want to look at a not full-time IT person or just continue on like we are with the website. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I just want to ask Ms. Epp a question. Ms. Epp, you saying Mick Cole gonna do everything for $500, or is this for a month or what? I'd like for you to go back
Yeah,
over
that was my motion. Mr. Carper can replay it because he recorded it, and you'll know exactly what I said.
But anyway, Madam Chairman, I think if Mick doing this for $500, I think that's the reason. Because I think Gentry had made this. I think you said something about $450, right? Something.
Well, I'm in favor of website maintenance only with approval from the commission to do anything else. That's what I'm in favor of. And I'm in favor of changing what was presented Monday night from 5 hours a week to 30 hours a month at $15 an hour. And I don't know what that's 30 times 15 is. $450.
Well, that ain't but $50 difference.
No, the difference is here, though, in Ms. Epps' motion, is to do everything else in addition to website maintenance.
The reason I said that, Commissioner, Madam Chair, the reason I made that statement is because there are times that we may need something that need to be done. And a lot of the work that she does is really done for the county. I was just picked up something that had been done. She does a lot of stuff that goes out in the community that the commissioners never asked her to do. And the senior citizen have a lot of work that is done. And for the thing about it is only $50 more per month than if you're going to pay her $15 an hour. for 30 hours. It's only more, that's only $50 a month.
Madam
But
Chairman,
I'm not here to debate it. We can vote on it up or down.
Madam Chairman, call for the question. We've been on this long enough.
I think we need to vote if we're ready to
Yes, ma'am.
call.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Can I ask that we restate the motion, please?
Ms.
You
Epps,
want me
wanna
to restate the
your-
motion?
Yes, please.
I said that I move that the commissioner will contract with Nicole or Sarah of $500 per month, which would include the website, any and all resolutions, any and all proclamation, flyers, pictures, and advertisement that would go to the media, and cover in-town games if necessary, or any other work deemed by the, and I didn't add this part, but I do have it, by the administrator.
Call for
You
the question.
understand?
Yes, ma'am. Call for the question.
And who was the second?
Drew second.
We have a second.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to clear that up.
District one, Lee?
No, I will be in favor of bringing one up soon if this doesn't pass, but no to this particular motion.
District two, Currington?
No.
District three, Martin?
No,
District four, Reed?
Madam Chairman.
I want to hear the
well,
other motion.
Well, we got to vote on this one first.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
got.
know.
Before I vote, but I'm sick and tired. Well, I'm gonna make this statement before I say anything. I'm sick and tired of one commissioner up here trying to run this show. I done had enough of him.
Point of order, Madam
No,
Chair.
no, I'm gonna say this before I vote.
District,
Let's not get.
We're in the middle of a vote.
Well, my vote is no. I mean, my vote is yes.
That's why.
My vote is yes. They get me confused up here now.
District five, Epps?
Yes.
District six, Corbett?
No.
District seven, Scrivner?
All right, now, Madam Chair,
No, yes.
I would like to move that the contract that was presented Monday evening at the work session be approved with the changes of 30 hours per month instead of 5 hours per week at $15 an hour.
Okay.
For,
The one that was presented to us Monday night, which basically says it's for website management only. And then any additional duties would have to come before the commission.
Like two would, just, pardon my,
that's
two
correct.
would come before the, commission,
Yes.
and three,
Before I second this is for website design and maintenance only, correct, Commissioner?
That's
I
the
will
way
second that
I was
motion.
told.
so two would essentially be eliminated or done at the instruction of the commission. So I can
That's
compare this
correct.
thing. Three would be right, it would go for 12 months. Of course, anybody could extend it if they wanted to, take both parties, of course.
Yes.
Now, four,
Forward,
that's gonna be changed to be 30 hours
30 hours per month.
per month.
It's $15 an hour, it still remains the same.
Okay,
May I interject something here?
We need a second before we need,
I've
we
already
don't have to go.
Okay, he's got a
Second.
second.
Okay.
All right.
sixes would stay in. Seven deals with the site. 8 and 9 look all right, unless somebody wants me to change it, that would probably go in. Confidentiality, that would go in, and relationship, that's all right. All right, so basically it'd work on 2 and 4, essentially eliminate 2 and work on 4, because we cover assigned projects on the next page.
Correct.
So so I've got my notes on what your motion is. I'm taking out 2, changing 4 to deal with 30 hours a month at $15 an hour.
Correct.
Madam Chair,
What do you take
What?
out?
Madam Chair,
Okay.
question. Since we only limiting, her to
website management if she wants to do something on her own as a volunteer.
That's,
That's fine, I just need to clear that up.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Madam Chair, on the other, the one that the sheriff department has, on their additional, I was looking through this stuff, on the additional items that she does, there's a charge of $25 for each one of those. So if she's gonna be doing other items, she should be able to
it's
also
approved.
charge the $25 like the other contract gives the lady at the sheriff's department, where it's, she's paid for what she does, basically.
well,
Approved by the commission.
Right.
under this contract, if we approve additional work, then I thought she would get paid the $15 an hour on that, just like she would everything else.
I can just add that to 6. 6 would cover that,
But,
pay at the same rate.
As long as she's paid for what.
yeah,
what she's
and
not having
to
to
answer
work for nothing.
Commissioner Screws, yes, I mean, this is one reason we're doing a contract, because technically, this person would not be a county employee. So what they do on their own time, for anybody, is up to them. They can charge people for it, or they can do it as a volunteer.
What I was going to interject, if I may, please. I think it would be easier if our administrator, not for her, Nick, to come down to us, because she's got to know what's going on, and if it is of a magnitude in money-wise, then we will present it and vote on it. But otherwise, if it's just something kind of routine,
That's
I
pretty
just want to cut
that's
down
kinda
on so
vague.
much back and forth.
That kind of leaves it too vague.
I'll go along with that.
Let me say 6 actually covers that.
Oh, it does?
But yeah, 6,
Majority vote.
if it's something in addition, which is
Be
really
a
sort of
majority vote.
unlimited,
Uh-huh.
then she'll come back and the county approves it and should be paid at the same rate.
I think that Ms. Martin would be putting the administrator in the middle between maybe commissioners, and I don't think that's fair, so I think a vote of the commission should suffice. And
Sure, and I think-
nothing's gonna come up as an emergency that has to be, I mean, any event, we know in advance what they're gonna be. I mean, that's,
Madam Chair, I think this is a good, you know, a good way to put it, because we want to know about projects anyway as commissioners. If there's something going on that we're promoting the county, that we got a contractor working on to promote, we want to know about it anyway. So let's bring it to the table, vote on it, and then move on, and then we're paying her at that
in fact,
rate.
it could even be covered by, you know, you wouldn't even have to have a roll call vote. You could just say
Majority vote?
all of, you know, any objection. If no objections, then you do it. It's not a complicated thing to bring special projects to the commission, because very seldom is there a special project that comes up within the middle of 2 weeks that you didn't know about ahead of time.
All right.
Because it's
Okay.
not a news event now. You know, this person is not supposed to be covering news like a reporter, and the person that we're talking about was a very good reporter when she did that. I wish she was still doing it.
Well, and I have seen some invoices that said economic development.
Well, that's not in this contract.
Call for a question.
Okay, Rick Cotton.
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Currington,
Yes.
District 3 Martin,
Yes.
District 4 Reed,
I really don't like that, but I'm gonna go ahead and vote yes.
District 5 Epps,
Yes.
District 6 Corbett,
Yes.
District 7 Spread.
Yes.
Boy, that was a lot of debate for a unanimous
We're
vote.
unanimous.
I'll have it drawn up
That way we
for
won't have
next
to bring
meeting.
it up no more.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
All right.
Send you a copy.
Ms. Epps, you have the next Senior Activity Center contract.
Yes, Madam Chair, the only thing that I would like the commissioners to vote on this morning is that we would let all scouts, Boy Scout, Girl
Madam Chair.
Scouts, and any scout.
I can't hear down here, we got a conversation going on.
I think you're gonna have to talk up loud, Madam
Not
Chairman.
that, it's
You were talking.
somebody's talking while
Yeah.
while the commissioner has the floor. Go ahead now.
Thank you. I would like to move that with the Senior Activity Center in Fort Mitchell, Alabama, that we would let all scouts, including Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, or any scouts, use the building free, at no charge.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a
Madam Chair, discussion.
Yes.
I agree with Ms. Epps, and I think this is a good one. I do ask that we kind of keep track of that. It still documents that it was done at no charge, so, thank you.
All right, these for the commission.
Just not a discussion. It's something we might want to think about in the future, since this is a county solely owned building, built by the county, maintained by the county, and everything else. You know, at some later date, I'd like to look at I mean, I know we can't let some people have it free and charge other people rent, but we can let everybody use it free with just a damage deposit. So let's look at that in the future, because it's like we've said, it's not a real large facility, so, you know, we'd have to have a maximum of the crowd that was gonna be there. So just something, not for this motion, just something to look at in the future, because when you start, I mean, I don't have any problem with scouts, but then, you know, you may have, I don't know what all groups are available, but some of them may keep coming and, have to do it each time, but it's not a building that, and it is solely a county building, where some of our other buildings wasn't built by the county and didn't owned by the county, but so they would be treated different. But in this particular case, that's just something I've been thinking about.
Madam Chair, I would
Yes.
like to also talk about the building in Fort Mitchell. In the beginning, when we first opened the building, as some of you all will know, that they was leasing it to some teenagers and whatever for graduation parties or functions, and it got out of hand. So we do not lease it to teenagers now. Most of the people who use that building is senior citizens like me, who would like to go and have a meeting, have a dinner for small groups, because the building itself is not large enough to have large functions there. It was built for small function. Matter of fact, I was asked, is it possible that the county could extend it, but, you know, I don't know all of the details in that. The building really is not being misused. It is being used. And the persons that use that building take good care of it. For an example, I've been asked a couple of times, could the organization of ADC have a meeting there? You know, but with this vote as it is now, then when I said nonprofit organization this other day, you know, someone, you know, so I just, you know, but what I'm saying is sometimes we can harm ourselves by trying to not give when the scripture tells us that we are supposed to be good to each other and bear each other's burdens, which I think this commission is not doing at all, a lot of time for our county.
Well, I didn't mean to throw water on this, because I'm in favor of this motion 100%. I just said it's something that I would like to discuss with Ms. Epps or anybody else at a later date to make a change. I think we can do something different that'll open it up to more use.
Okay, shall we vote?
District 1 Lee,
Yes.
District 2 Curry.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
Yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 F.
Yes.
District 6 Corbin.
Yes.
District 7 Scrivens.
Next, Mr. Blakeney has the 2017-2018 budget dirt road list approval.
Madam Chair, while he's walking up, can I ask the attorney something real quick? That was legal what we just did, right? Letting the scout
Yeah,
shoot the
yeah, I
nonprofit.
mean,
Thank
you could, yeah,
Just wanna make sure we got that on record.
yeah, some other
All right.
stuff, maybe not, that
Thank you.
was.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Come back to you, for you today to just try to get some clarity on where we go when we leave Lynn Road as far as our annual dirt road paving. We've got probably, hopefully, 3 more months left on Lynn Road. Got another 3 inches of rain like this week, early this week, so that put us a little further behind. But during the budget process, I come to you with the list that I've got from y'all, basically talking to each individual one that's got dirt roads in their district, and propose this list for y'all to look at and see where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. So if y'all could help me out and at least give me the next step on this list where y'all want me to go, so I can get some preliminary engineering done and try to go forward to get the right of way if we need to get right of way, so we can get these roads going.
May I ask a question of the engineer, please? All right, the way I understand it, we already committed to finishing number 1 on there, Lynn Road.
Yes, that
So
was a
that's,
carryover.
so that's not even in consideration. And the other one I've got a question about is Gammage Road. I think we have already basically committed to that one, haven't we?
That's been, yes, sir, because that's an ER project that's gonna be, contractor's gonna come do the work, and when they get through with the work, we're going to put rock and tar on it.
Okay, so taking those 2 out of the total, I think we got like 125,000 budgeted for dirt roads. What does that leave, about 70,000?
Yes.
75,000 left. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up in my mind.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Engineer, I think that when we were in budget talks, we had decided at one point to go by this list, but then I actually made a motion, I think, to that effect, and then I pulled my motion back based on the minutes. So,
Yes, there was talks about, I'm not just going for this list, but it took 2 years, 3 years, just starting and plugging the way down for this list, and there was other talks about removing roads, and then I just didn't know where we stood, and then,
I get that. So Lynn is where you're at now. Pitts is a no-brainer. You're right around the corner. You can finish it with your equipment, not have to move it. We've all agreed to that. Carden would be the next one on the list. And you agree that Carden probably should be the next one?
well, I've stated before, if y'all told me to pave dirt roads, it'd probably be Carden and Gammage, and we would start resurfacing paved roads.
All right, that's
I had
enough
to
for me
pave
at this
some
point.
roads.
I'm Chair, I make a motion that we can continue on the paving with Lynn, go to Pitts, and then Carden next, and then the engineer bring it back to us for the next, list of roads for the rest of the year.
Madam Chair, why are we doing that?
So we can give him some direction, and we don't sit here and tell the engineer we're not gonna give him any
If we
idea.
follow the list, then he don't need to come back to us.
Well, there's one I have a problem with on there, though.
Well, you need to state if you got a problem.
Well, my only problem with bringing that one, well, I'm not gonna state it. I'd rather not at this point. I've got a motion on the floor.
Don't make sense.
Who seconded?
It dies
There's
for
not a
lack of
second.
second.
Oh, I'll second the motion. I was just waiting to see if we were through talking. But, I was looking at the money. I don't think we got enough money to do that. But maybe we can save some money in something, so maybe move a little money around, but,
You don't think we got enough money to do Lynn, Pitts, and Carden?
well,
Well, Gammage is gonna be in there, because we already.
Right.
you only got, I mean, doing Pitts and Carden would be, 87,000, and I only think we got about 80, but we could probably find some money somewhere, because I think that'd be great if we could, Pitts Road has been on the number 1 and number 2 on the list ever since I've been on the commission, and I know it's a hard one to do because of right-of-way and other stuff, but, Carden Road's a no-brainer, because it's already based, it can be almost paved in a short period of time. And it's been needing paving since I was in elementary school, and school buses were getting stuck trying to cut through there. But,
4 months. I mean, that's one of the smallest ones, but quickest ones.
and I just found out today that we were already committed to Gammage Road, which that takes a big hunk out of our money. But
Yep.
I'll second the motion, and, maybe we'll get bids on some of this stuff that come in under this estimate. Most of the time we do.
Well, on the Gammage Road, that's just our price for putting down the tar.
I know, but I'm talking about on the Carden and Pitts Road. We need to find the $6,000 there somewhere.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I find it very funny that, Commissioner Corbett stated his 3 roads, and then he wants to come back on everybody else.
Madam Chair, as a point, Carden Road actually splits mine and Commissioner Screws' district.
Well,
That's both of our roads, that's not just my roads.
well,
Well,
I'm not for Carden,
but we
you
can't-
all- You all have the votes to do it, so, and it was not brought to me that we were doing Carden. I learned about it maybe a day before, the budget meeting.
I've been
that
asking.
Sean and I had a conversation about. And that's when I learned about it. Now, if it's half of my road, then I ought to get a half vote.
So you wanna pave the right side, not the left side?
Well,
What I'm
but
saying-
if you go by those rules, Commissioner, I wouldn't get any vote.
What I'm saying is, if you look at Ridge Road, who has more houses, more population, if you're gonna do a road in my district, I would be more in tune with Ridge Road.
I'll support that.
And they've been trying to get it
Seal.
for years.
But what I'm saying is, I was not informed about this road. And the problem I have with it, we wanna do all of the roads in Commissioner Corbin's district and then come back and decide to do the other in the county. Now, what's wrong with voting on the whole list and just move forward?
Well, we
Can't make it.
we can't do that, and we always do this annually. We always start over a new list every year, because you don't know what, I mean, we could have a major.
We have never done it. We have always voted on a list of roads for each commissioner. And then if it runs over, the engineer usually takes it and move forward the next year. Now, that's the way we've
No,
done it
that
for
hadn't
years.
always done it that way.
Never.
And I just realized, I mean, I wish they wouldn't even put what district these roads are in, because
It's in
I
the
didn't even
county.
know where they are. I mean, I know where they are, but I don't know what district they're in. But, Gamage Road is in
That's
District
District
7.
7.
And half of Carden Road's in District 7, so that's 40, 50, 60, 70, and still, like always, more money is spent in District 7 than the others put together.
Great
Well,
point.
I've got the biggest district. I'll give you some, Ginger.
Well, you know, we could do it the way, another way is we could take the total amount of road money and divide it by 7, and each commissioner decides where theirs goes.
Well, I tell you what, let's dismantle the unitary status, give me my money, and I'll do what I need to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying, 1/7 of 125 is what would be your share.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
But I'm not opposed to doing, and the road we're talking about for the general public is Screws Road. That's what's causing all the problems, and,
It ain't not causing a problem with me, it's causing a problem with you.
no, it's not causing a problem with
Well,
me.
what's the problem? Why we can't vote on the list that's here and move forward?
Madam Chair, you know, it's funny that we can take a molehead and make a whole mountain out of it. When I first was elected and I go back, I worked with Care Market, who was the engineer at that time. And what happened with us, he met with me and he went over the roads that we had, and I asked him, which road is most needed to be paved? And I think he met with all the commissioners, the 3 commissioners that had roads. We came up and agreed which road, on the recommendation of the engineer, because we are not out there every day on the roads. The engineer know where every road is and what every road need to be done. Now I think that and when he came to the budget, he presented that, budget meeting, he presented the roads that had been designated to be paved, and we went on about our business. Now we're gonna talk about this road going here and who districted it in, and all, at that time, District 2 also had some unpaved roads. In one budget meeting, we agreed to just do District 2 roads and be through with it, because it was less than in any other
That's right.
district that we had. I think we just sit here and we just take a simple request from the engineer, and we make a mountain out of it. He presented these roads to us. The engineer know exactly, probably, if the weather be good, how many roads that he gonna be able to get. We hired an engineer to do it, so why don't we let him do his job? So, I know there's a motion on the floor, but I don't see in it that we're gonna motion for 3 roads, or 3 to be paved, 2 district roads to be paved, and the rest of us is left out in the cold.
Not till next year.
I don't think it's fair to have him to come back, Gentry, when we have a list of roads that he have gone over with each one of the commissioners, and this is his list. So why can't we approve it? If he can't get there, he going to carry it over, he'll come back and say he was unable to do it anyway.
Because I can answer that. The list that you're talking about when Cal Market was here, we also did one when James McGill was here. And, of this list here, there was only two that was on that list that I remember, on the top of that list. And that was, Carden Road and Gamage Road.
Well, when I came, I'll tell you who was on there.
I mean, this was at the
Gammon
top.
Road, Hughley Road was a big thing.
That's already been done.
And I'm saying, you said when you was here, I said, when I came here, those was the roads. Samuel Road also came up several times during
That's
these
been
years.
done.
So now we're trying to get this in an order, so can't we just vote on this list and let the engineer take care of his business?
Well, then what happens next year if you've already voted on this list? And you know you're not gonna be able to do it all, because we don't have the money all the time.
You
And
gonna
then
carry
next-
it over?
Then next year, something happens to where another road gets to take priority over the three that are left, and you've already voted to do these.
This is about 3 years worth of roads.
Because this is 3 years' worth of work here, because
So-
one road, number 5, will take the whole year. And,
Who?
Screws Road.
I mean,
What's the difference?
if it's going to take 3 years anyway, why not just pay, if the engineer come back and say, I'm unable to complete the list that I had in the last budget, so it was a 3-year, so he gonna carry them over.
I don't have any problem on approving this list 1 through 7 to take how long it takes. All I'm saying is be aware that we may have to change it.
Well,
Don't
that's
come
fine.
back next year and say, well, y'all already voted to do that, so we can't put this one in
You
over
might not
the-"
be here, you may not be here next year.
I may not, but
So-
somebody will.
Each year, we have carried over roads. We've
Every
had a
year.
list,
Every year.
and if he didn't finish them this year, we carried them over from next year. There have never been a question or argument about that,
That's right.
Madam Chair.
until today.
If we approve
Madam
that, that'd be great for me.
Madam Chair,
Until
we have
today.
never, since I've been here or before, approved a list that had 3 years' worth of dirt roads
Me either.
on that list. So we had a list that the engineer thought that he could take care of in a year, and sometimes one of those roads might have been held over into the next year. We would not be responsible trying to approve roads 3 years out. And I'll go ahead and lay it on the table, and I'm telling you, I tried to just let this roll, but the reason I don't want to vote on some of these roads, including the biggest one is Screws Road, is because in the minutes we just approved, I actually asked, Mr. Screws, you have that as an 8-month project, that would be an entire year, Screws Road. And his response was, that is my road. The reason why I got it on there is because I have waited 10 years since I have been on the county commission. I've been working on everybody's road in the community. Now it's time to get my road paved this year.
And
I
that's
can't
correct.
support that when a commissioner's talking about his road. I can't do that. I can't support it.
And that is correct. I've
Madam-
done roads in every community, and I'm working
Commissioner
in
Reed
my
has the
community
floor.
now.
Madam Chairman, I feel like we need to table this right here. It's too much.
Call for the vote.
Oh, we
No,
got a
no,
vote.
you don't.
We got a motion.
Excuse me, I would like to speak, please. We've got 125,000 set aside,
That's what
right?
that's what we budgeted.
Then I think we should let Sean use that money, what he's got, and pave the roads, and then we'll address that another
After,
time
that's
about
right.
the roads.
Yeah,
And
that's
figure
it.
up how much Samuel Road is, and I know you said you can't do it this year, but, but let's stick with that. He's got it designated, and the roads in here that are the worst, or that
Well,
can.
I'm gonna say this too, you see how much controversy
know.
this has caused.
He's
So
not
if
gonna make that
If I
decision.
go to Pitts, I'm making 4 people mad. If I go
Uh-huh.
to Carden, I'm making probably 6 people mad. And I've already stated under the record that my recommendation would be, if I had the money to choose, I wouldn't pave dirt roads. We've got so many paved roads falling apart. This is Commissioner Special Projects. When citizens calls, I tell them that's Commissioner Special Projects. They give me the money to pave dirt roads. So I'm at discretion of which way y'all want me to go. So if I had to pick, it'd be a lose-lose battle whichever way I win.
Yeah, if I had my choice, we wouldn't
no,
pave
I-
any road. We wouldn't pave any dirt roads either, because we're the only county, I think, left doing that, not many.
Oh, no, we're not the only one.
If you had dirt roads in your district, you would pay.
Madam Chair?
Yeah,
Hey, people
What
in my
you
district
just
paid
said
for their
is
roads.
Exactly what I said. Start the list, and when you get finished with the money or the time, come back to us. So I
That's
call
right.
for the vote.
yeah. Okay,
Along with that, I would like to say that I still think we should let our engineer,
He's not gonna do that.
you know, because I really don't know how bad your road is.
Well, you're not getting anything.
Your road is, I'm not getting anything. I'm just here, I'm just, just whatever. But I think that the engineer sat down with each one of the commissioners that have dirt roads, including me, and we went over them. He brought it on this sheet of paper right here. So we know that each year that we come, it's been going on ever since I've been here, that the engineer cannot complete all the roads that we vote there for him to do. So he brings it back as a carryover. So that's been going on for years.
Typically one road.
So,
And if he gets one road here, he could bring it back next year and ask us to approve him again. We're approving
Okay.
right now the road he's working on now as a carryover. We're having to approve it.
But we don't have to approve it because he's already working.
He can stop.
Yeah, he can
Stop right where he
He
is,
wants
and
to
we don't
approve
approve
this
it.
We're about to
Again,
do
Madam
it.
Chair, just let's
Lord
call
have
it.
mercy,
Okay.
Jesus.
I think I
Wait,
need
what
to
are we
table-
voting on first?
We're voting on the first 4 on the list.
Yep. My
The
motion
first
is
four?
to pay the first 4 roads is the list provided by the engineer.
and does that use up that 125?
More than uses it
Probably.
up.
Probably.
More than uses it up.
He might say that.
To be fair now, Madam Chair, the first one on the list was budgeted last year, so that money is already there.
Not necessarily.
Well, did he spend it?
If you don't, we don't carry
We
over
budgeted that
funds.
road last year, did not?
It was budgeted last year.
Okay, so the money should be there.
We don't carry over money. in our budget.
Money done disappeared.
Boy, I tell you.
Call for the vote,
So
please.
many
It'll be
different-
all
Okay,
right.
did you make that a motion?
Yes, it
It's
is
already been a
and
motion
second.
and a second.
This motion and second already. Done. District 1 Lee?
Yes.
District 2 Currington?
Yes.
District 3 Martin?
Yes.
District.
District 4 Reed?
Yes.
District 5 Epps?
Yes.
District 6 Corbett?
Yes.
District 7 Scruggs?
No.
Motion carries.
And while I'm up here, as all y'all know, I've now taken over the Parks and Rec Department for a little while. Found out last Wednesday or
Madam Chair, I
Thursday,
can't hear.
last Wednesday or Thursday, they had 2 pickups budgeted for this upcoming year's, budget. And, we found one early this week off of the state surplus bid. It's a 2014, F-250 4x4. They can pull their trailers and tractors and all for $25,500. Talked to Vicky, the money wasn't in their account as of yet because ad valorem tax comes in later on in the year, but we've got it in our engineering account. So got the invoice for it. We've got 10 days to hold the invoice to decide whether we want to make the purchase. So I would like for y'all to approve us purchasing this vehicle out of engineering's budget, and then once the money gets there, then transfer it back over, because they've had 2 vehicles budgeted for $28,000 apiece that was approved in the budget, and this is under budget.
Only thing we have is to make sure that these funds come out of the transferred funds from the general fund and don't come out of some of those others, and we won't get in trouble with those auditors again, even though the same money don't matter.
No, not the same fund. I was gonna say, you've already approved the purchase.
Yes.
And the funding will be managed just exactly like you stated. This is just the $7,500 that the
Yeah,
commission, that he just needs to report to you that he's moving forward with the purchase.
So we don't need to,
No,
Don't need to approve that.
okay,
it's already in the budget.
All right, thank you.
okay. And Madam Administrator, you have the 2 legal document procedure and report on capital.
Yes, Madam Chair, as I discussed Monday evening, since the budget discussions and meetings, there was some comments made regarding legal documents, and department heads and officials have come to me regarding that. So to clarify things, I would like to recommend the following policy, to require elected officials and department heads to consult with the county attorney on legal documents prior to presenting to the county commission. And again, that's not to give him a promise. These are completed contracts or legal documents for him to review. That way he will be informed when he comes to advise the commission at the meeting.
Okay, and to make this clear, I'll make the motion. You got a second?
I'll second it.
All right, make it clear now, this is reviewing existing documents. This does not give department heads and elected officials carte blanche to take something to the attorney to draw up. In other words, you write it yourself, then take it to the attorney. Or somebody else write it, and he can make recommendations and changes, but don't just take it to him and say, I want a document that contains $50,000 salary for 50 employees and tell him to write it. That's not what this does.
Madam Chair, I'll agree with that, and I'll take another point to say, before department heads start taking stuff to the attorney, they really should be letting the administrator know anyway.
Well, it should go through the administrator, and I
Well,
think
it
it
don't.
always has.
And it should.
No, it don't, it ain't always happened.
It's just that sometimes it don't come out in a meeting. I know we had a sort of a disagreement a couple of meetings ago that kind of cost us an employee, and it had gone to the administrator before it went to the attorney, and just wasn't brought up.
Mr. Vanderbilt, you said it should come from the administrator?
Yeah, I mean, it's from the department head, but this legal document deals with things like loan papers where we buy trucks, legal documents prepared by third parties. If anything coming to me should, from department head should come
From the administrator.
Through the administrator.
Yes.
I don't have any problem with
Unless
that.
it's an elected official, you know, the elected official can certainly come to me, because that's dealing with their department and not always county business.
I don't have any problem with that.
Okay,
District 1 Lee.
Yes.
District 2 Corrington.
Yes.
District 3 Martin.
yes.
District 4 Reed.
Yes.
District 5 Elk.
Yes,
District 6 Corbett.
Yes.
7 Scrivens.
I was just trying to make it where we kind of kept the administrator out of some squabbles sometime. But now, I guess it's okay. They'll just squabble.
He didn't vote.
No vote.
Okay. And on the capital fund?
Yes, Madam Chair. As I explained Monday evening, this report for the capital fund is for the minutes. As you know, through the exit conference of the examiners, during the A-Trip project, we received some money from a one-time, I guess you might say, funding from the governor to stem these projects, and we transferred too much into engineering. So we've been having to pay back the fund. And this is just to let the commission know that we have paid back the fund in simple terms. And I just would like this entered into the minutes.
That's just report to us.
Just a report, yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Vanderbilt, what?
Madam Chair, we've received word that the employee wants to drop the appeal. I thought I would have that before the meeting this morning, but we probably will have it today. So I'm gonna move that we table that, since there's no point in going through the process when we expect the appeal to be dropped.
the employees that,
So,
And Madam Chair,
pardon me?
I'd like to request, since he basically said he hasn't done it and didn't have the information, and not to have it by the next meeting, but just be working on the work and the cost and the estimate and the mileage and how many houses and all that stuff like you normally do on Samuel Road, Denson Hill Road, so we at least have that information to look at. Cause I got a feeling it will be brought back to us again and again and again. But, and so we really need a little information to look at that. I know we can't. Okay.
Thank you. Announcements is, the Blacksmith Expo is this coming Saturday, 28th of October, at the Fort Mitchell Historical Park, and we appreciate all participating in that. That's to be, and to volunteer, if you will. November 4th is the FOP breakfast at the Legion Post 135, 8 a.m. to noon. Fountain City Classic Parade, November 4th, begins at 9:30, and that's Eastern Time. Russell County Senior Center will have a craft bazaar, yard sale, and vendor fair November 4th from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Commissioners, any other announcements?
yes, I have an announcement. Preferred Medical Group will have a fall festival on October the 30th. And it's gonna be like a cartoon contest, treats and craft. And this will be held at the Fort Mitchell Clinic there on Highway 165. And it will be from 4 until 6. And they're asking that everyone will bring their children out. They have ages 0 to 4, 5 to 8 and 8 and up. And there will be prizes given for the best, I guess, or the worst costume that their outfit that they would have. And also, they will have the opportunity to decorate many pumpkins, and those pumpkins they would take home for them. And also, I have a request, and I may be out of order, but Ronnie always tell me that I'm a commissioner, so I can request stuff. I would request that the commissioners consider looking into a time clock for employees. I think it would be, personally, I think it would be an advantage to the person that have to take care of the time, keep in time if someone come in and they clock in, and they won't have to go back and say, I did work these extra hours. Clocking in and clocking out is what they would do. And that way, I just feel it would be much easier on the
Is that
timekeeper.
for all departments under us? I mean, not just the commission office, engineers, and everybody else?
No, I'm just referring to the, I'm referring to the administration part of it. Because I really, if we can do it, it would be easier, I guess, for all departments, but I think it,
Well, we can't do it for elected officials, we know we can't.
oh, well, we don't count.
And it makes no sense to do it for exempt employees, because they don't get overtime anyway, so.
Huh?
Where you have hourly employees where you pay the check, but it's not under the direction of a department head, elected official, it certainly would work.
Salary employees don't clock in and out. I'm talking about hourly employees that clocks in and out.
Some punishment in there, cause I have seen and been known people that have done it, is that one employee's gonna be late that day and they call the buddy, and he pulls his card out and flips it for him. Is that automatically?
Well, gentlemen, they need to be terminated, they do that.
That is wrong. Everyone have to clock in, and I say this, and because I did it for years, didn't have no problem. I never called anyone to clock me in. I always was there 5 minutes early. Always stayed 5 minutes late or whatever. Because that way, this person will not be saying, I worked these many hours and I didn't get paid for them, and I worked these many hours and it's proof in the pudding that this is the time you clocked in at 8:32 and you clocked out at 4:06.
And Madam Chair, what's really nice is now that we have our new camera system, we can look every day and
To see
what
whether they was
employees come
there.
in and-
That's right.
Well, have one
Works out
trained,
nice.
if we decide to do that, have a camera on that clock, so we make sure that person's doing his own clock.
Sure is.
Any way you want to do it, that is just, I think it, personally, I think it would help because, it would help the timekeeper.
Well, I will look into it
If
and
I
see
can,
what it
if I can
costs.
comment legally, if you ask the lawyer that, you should always have a time clock for
Beg pardon?
hourly employees.
I agree. I just hope I can get paid for all my hours.
No, you're not.
Oh, you're
You're exempt, so you're Sarah, so it wouldn't include.
Nick, is this your work, right? Did you leave some out here for people? Okay. Please, this is valuable, and we have, Janie, you have something in here. The 28th? Yes. Right. So pick one up, and it's a really good information, and it looks well. It does.
May I ask a question before you dismiss? I miss someone in the audience today, and believe it or not, when I go through my mind, I can just about tell who all was sitting in the audience at each meeting. Is Wanda Lamb, I miss
She
her
was
this
here
morning. I miss her
Monday.
this morning.
Doctor's appointment.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, do I hear a motion to,
Motion to adjourn.
we are adjourned.
That's fine.
Sean, I'm sorry that you under all this, what I said, all under this, sorry, you're under all this distress.
What, when do you wanna meet about the playground?
When it's convenient for you.
Anytime.